Hey guys, it's Courtney, and this is part 2 of my Humongosaurus book haul. There are two things that I am extremely excited about right now. The first thing, that I can finally get all of these books behind me that's sitting on my floor onto my shelf. And the second thing is this really awesome Stranger Things t-shirt that I am wearing. If you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's awesome. This video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, okay? I just really like Stranger Things. Highly recommend it. But if you've already seen the show and you like it enough to want to buy a t-shirt, then you could get it for a really good price at Wish. I think I paid like $8 for it, or something around there, so it was a really good deal. Anyways, let's get to the books. So first up I have Theft of Life by Imogen Roberts, which I think is like the 5th book in whatever series this is. So I'm not going to read the description for you. It is a historical fiction / mystery novel, and it is set in London in 1785. By the way, I apologize for my annoying smoke detector. He needs a new battery, and I don't feel like changing it. Next I have Shadow and Bone and Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and I have 2 copies because Amazon messed up, sent me this one when I wanted this one, and so now I have both of them. I'm really excited to read this though because I've heard a lot of great things about this book. Next I have Touch of Power by Marie V. Schneider, which is about a healer named Avery who can literally absorb people's wounds and diseases with her hands. Even though Avery does a great amount of good with her powers, she is being hunted because people think that she is spreading plague. So while she's on the run, she is captured by a band of rogues who value her gift and decide to keep her instead of turning her in for the bounty offered for her. So she meets their leader who has powers of his own, and they demand that she heal a plague-stricken prince who is actually leading a campaign against her people, and so she must decide who's worth healing, who's worth dying for, because the price of peace may very well be her life, and that's what it says on the back of the book, so yeah. The River Between Us by Richard Peck. This book is set during the time of the Civil War, and it follows Tilly Pruitt, whose family is struggling to make ends meet. And when 2 mysterious strangers arrive in town, they take them in as boarders. No one in town knows what to make of this. Are the strangers spies? Are the Pruitts traitors? They don't know, and we won't know until we read it, so. It's a lot of noise upstairs. My siblings just running across the floors. Till the Well Runs Dry by Lauren Frances Sharma. Lauren Frances Sharma, okay. The story is set in the 1940s, 1960s in Trinidad, and it follows Marcia, who's a 16-year-old seamstress, looking after 2 very young boys and is guarding a family secret. Yeah. She ends up meeting this police officer who she falls in love with, and so we get to watch her story and watch her relationship with him develop. And of course, some issues arise, like a scandal that threatens to tear everything in her world apart. The Spirit Glass Charade by Colleen Gleason, which is a sequel to The Clockwork Scarab. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, which I don't know a lot about, but I really want to keep it that way, and I'm hoping that it amazes me. I really, really, really love how shiny this cover is. It's just so gorgeous. A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park. Naya goes to the pond to fetch water for her family. She walks 8 hours every day. Salva walks away from his war-torn village. He's a lost boy refugee, destined to cover Africa on foot, searching for his family and safety. 2 young people, 2 stories. 1 country, Sudan. My Heart Laid Bare by Joyce Carol Oates. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I bought this book because of the title. It sounds like a book I should read. It sounds like a me book. So, I know nothing about it. I'm going to keep it that way. Another book that I bought, just because I like the title, is The Art of Hearing Heartbeats by John Philip Sentker. I hope I said that the right way. The reviews for this were really, really nice, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be pleased with it. Next I have Unbreakable by Cami Garcia, who is the author of Beautiful Creatures. I've never read that, but my sister's working her way through it right now because she loved the movie so much. I thought it was kind of weird, but you know. Anyways, this story is about a girl whose mother is killed by a ghost, and when one tries to kill her, these 2 identical twins show up and save her life. So she ends up joining this league of ghost hunters who are sworn to protect the world from this very powerful demon. Oh my gosh, my feet are falling asleep. Okay, next I have The Diviners by Libba Bray, which I actually already read and I absolutely loved it. It was so good. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads and I highly recommend it. I'm actually thinking about rereading it because I read it like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. And while I do remember most of what happened in the story, I think there are a few things that need to be refreshed in my mind before I go into the second one. Crossroads by W.M. Paul Young. I know nothing about this book, however, I have The Shack sitting on my shelf. It's by the same author, and so I was thinking maybe I'll like this too, and it's in the dollar store for $1, so I might as well, you know, just get it. So yeah. This is Christian fiction, by the way. The Hundreds of Thorns by Melanie Dickerson, which is a medieval fairy tale. The story is about a girl named Odette, who by day is just a girl who teaches children to read, but by night, she's just female Robin Hood. She takes from the rich and gives to the poor. Jorgen Hartman is a hunter who is sent after Odette. They meet at a dance and end up falling in love, but he doesn't know that Odette is his target, and Odette doesn't know that he is the man who is trying to capture her. So, we'll see how that goes. Also by Melanie Dickerson, I have The Beautiful Pretender. This story actually takes place in the same world as the Huntress of Thornbeck Forest. However, I'm not entirely sure whether you need to read that one before reading this one, or whether, you know, if it doesn't matter, I don't know. To play it safe, I'm just not going to read the description for this one. Next I have Melissa Explains It All by Melissa Joan Hart. I grew up watching Melissa Joan Hart, and I loved Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so I'm looking forward to reading this. Comedy in a Minor Key by Hans Kielsen. A penetrating study of ordinary people resisting the Nazi occupation, and, true to its title, a dark comedy of wartime manners. Comedy in a Minor Key tells the story of Wim and Marie, a Dutch couple who first hide a Jew they know as Nico, then must dispose of his body when he dies of pneumonia. Smile is Fair by Rebecca Levine, which is about a carnival where any pleasure can be had, as long as you're willing to pay the price for it. Netmi, the orphan daughter of a murdered nobleman who in desperation commits an act that will haunt her forever. Dae Hyo, the skilled warrior who discovers that a lifetime of bravery cannot make up for a single mistake. Marvin, the master swordsman who takes more pleasure from killing than he should. Eric, who follows his heart only to learn that love can exact a terrible price. And Krish, the humble goat herd with a destiny he hardly understands and can never accept. In a land where unimaginable horror lurks in the shadows, where the very sun and moon are at war, these 5 people will discover who they are and who they're willing to become. Miranda and Caliban by Jacqueline Carey, which is a retelling of The Tempest. That's about as much as I know about this one. Letters to the Lost by Bridget Kammerer. Can you fall in love with someone you've never met? Juliet is drowning in grief after her mother's death. Declan is trying to escape the demons of his past. Writing letters to her mother is the only way Juliet can cope with her loss, but when Declan finds one of her letters and writes back, it sparks an anonymous correspondence. Such an immediate and intense connection with the perfect stranger feels strange and wonderful, and soon they are baring their souls to each other. But this secret world can only sustain Juliet and Declan for so long, as the reality surrounding them threatens to shatter what they've created. In this heart-wrenching story about choosing your own path in the face of tragedy, 2 strangers brought together by fate discover a love that will change their lives forever. Salt of the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. Winter, 1945. 4 teenagers, 4 secrets. Each one born of a different homeland, each one hunted and haunted by tragedy, lies, and war. As thousands of desperate refugees flock to the coast in the midst of a Soviet advance, 4 paths converge, vying for passage aboard the Wilhelm Gustloff, a ship that promises safety and freedom. Yet not all promises can be kept. Kiss of Night by Debbie Vigui, which is about a girl named Susan who goes to pray at an ancient church and she sees a vampire. Of course, she dismisses it as a figment of her imagination because vampires aren't real, like, it doesn't make any sense. But then when he reappears, he tells her that her cousin is in danger and he offers to help her. She accepts and she's thrown into this supernatural world. Raphael, the vampire, was cursed to be a vampire during the time of the Crusades because of his sins, and at some point in the book, the question is pegged, what would happen to a vampire if he were truly to accept God? So it sounds really interesting, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, what really swayed me towards buying this book was the fact that the guy on the cover kind of looks like Johnny Depp. I'm going to have a really, really good time picturing Raphael as Johnny Depp. The Lady of the Rivers by Philippa Gregory. The Lady of the Rivers is the story of Jacquetta, Duchess of Bedford, a woman who navigated a treacherous path through the battle lines in the Wars of the Roses. When Jacquetta is left a wealthy young widow, she returns to England and achieves a place at the very heart of the Lancaster court. though she can sense the danger of their royal York rivals. As Jacquetta fights for her king and her queen, she can see an extraordinary and unexpected future for her daughter Elizabeth, a change of fortune, the throne of England, and the White Rose of York. Apparently, I mispronounced the author's name. It is Philippa and not Philippa, so I apologize. Yeah, my sister was listening to me and she came in and corrected me, so thank you, Kayla. Thank you very much. A Certain Slant of Light by Laura Whitcomb. This story is about a ghost who is haunting the classroom of a high school English teacher, and no one can see her. And then, one day, someone does. A boy. They end up falling in love, and they're trying to figure out how to be together, even though she's dead, he's not. During the struggle, they find out secrets about their former lives. Shadow on the Crown by Patricia Bracewell. In 1002, 15-year-old Emma of Normandy crosses the narrow sea to wed Aethelred, the much older, recently widowed king of England. Thrust into a familiar and treacherous court, with stepsons who resent her and a bewitching rival who covets her crown, Emma must secure her status as queen by bearing a son. But her growing love for another man and the threat of a Viking invasion jeopardize both her life and her crown. This is actually based on true events. The Museum of Extraordinary Things by Alice Hoffman. Coralie Sardier is the daughter of the sinister impresario behind the Museum of Extraordinary Things, a Coney Island freak show that thrills the masses. An exceptional swimmer, Coralie appears as the mermaid in her father's museum, alongside performers like the Wolfman and the Butterfly Girl. One night, Coralie stumbles upon a striking young man taking pictures of moonlit trees in the woods off the Hudson River. The dashing photographer is Eddie Cohen, a Russian immigrant who has run away from his community and his job as a tailor's apprentice. When Eddie photographs the infamous Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, he becomes embroiled in the mystery behind a young woman's disappearance, and he ignites the heart of Coralie. And I Darkened by Kirsten White. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I only bought this book because a few vloggers that I follow have read it and loved it, so that's why I got it. Next I have Mistress of the Art of Death by Ariana Franklin. This story is set in medieval times, and it follows Adelia, who is a mistress of the art of death, aka a medical examiner. So she is sent to aid King Henry II in figuring out who has murdered these 4 children that have turned up dead, and Adelia is thrown into this dangerous world. The hunt for the killer gets pretty intense. There's also this man that she meets who helps her, so yeah, there's probably gonna be some romance up in here, you know. Incantation by Alice Hoffman. Estrella de Madrigal thought she knew herself, daughter, granddaughter, dearest friend. But truth is rare in this cruel and unforgiving century in Spain, when Jews who refused conversion to Christianity risked everything: love, life, family, faith. Then, a startling discovery shakes Estrella's world to the core. Emerging from a cocoon of secrets, new love burns brightly, but betrayal unleashes a monstrous evil upon her. Estrella must find the strength, despite grave consequences, to become the person she is destined to be. Remember the story she is about to tell you. The Truth Teller's Tale by Sharon Shin. Innkeeper's daughters Adele and Alida are mirror twins, identical twins whose looks are reflections of each other's, and their special talents are like mirrors too. Adele is a safekeeper, entrusted with hearing and never revealing others' secrets. Alida is a truth teller, one who cannot tell a lie when asked a direct question. The twins are treasured by the residents of Merindon, especially their best friend, Roland Caro, whose strict, wealthy father is determined to marry her off to the prince. When the twins are 17, a handsome dancing master and his apprentice come to stay at the inn, and thus begins a chain of romance, mistaken identity, and some very surprising truths and falsehoods. Okay, these last few books, I honestly don't remember what they're about. I saw them at the dollar store, and so I couldn't pass them up. And they are Ashes to Ashes by Melissa Walker, Vanessa and Her Sister by Priya Parmar, Rooms by Lauren Oliver, The Gates of Evangeline by Hester Young, The Dark Road by Ma Jian, Comfort Me with Apples by Ruth Rachel, Savage Girl by Jean Zimmerman, I don't know, Sweet Damage by Rebecca James, and last but not least, Crash and Burn by Michael Hassan. Well, that was it. I could finally get all of these books on my shelves. I'm so happy about that. They were taking up a lot of space on the floor. Oh, this video is going to be a mother to edit, and it's going to be long. I'm sorry. I know you guys hate long videos, or most of you don't like long videos, so I apologize. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more if you want to see more of me, or if you like my books more than me, that's fine too. I understand. See you guys next time.